So I have a client and
Mhm.
I'm just stumped, been working with her for almost 2 years now. And she has this pattern of it's almost like an addiction to a relationship, right?
Okay.
She backs off and then comes back in again, backs off and comes in again. We talked about her in the past and I sent Sam her name. Don't mind taking a look. And she's the one where we did a lot of deep trauma work,
Okay.
deep releases.
Is it always with the same person, or is it like always being in a relationship with somebody, or is it the same person over and over again?
Currently, it's the same person that's coming around again, but
Okay.
it's a pattern with her and some relationships. And there's still some really deep seated sadness and disappointment with her, especially with regards to her mother.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. This is what I would do. Like, and you can do this both with the oils and with pH,
Okay.
right? Um, so like we'll talk about from the oils, but you could also just substitute pH for the pattern that I'm talking about with EV, right?
Okay.
And
Thank
so what you'll do is you'll have her think of either the person that is coming in and out of her life, or
Uh-huh.
if she wants, she can do, or if you think it's good, do the mother. Like just have her, nothing in particular, just have her connect. Like, okay, I'm going to think of the mom, I'm going to think of this person, whatever it is. Just have
Okay.
her think for a little bit. And as she's thinking about it, have her put her awareness between the eyebrows, right? And
Okay.
so have her continue to think about that for a little bit and then let it go. And then, so at first she's just thinking about it, and then eventually she's smelling the oil. I'm going to have you use cistus.
Sisters. Okay.
Cistus, yeah. So use cistus, and then you're inhaling, and the awareness is between the eyebrows, and then move it to the bottom of the tailbone, right? And
Okay.
then after a little bit there, then run her through the pattern for the organs of blood purification. She doesn't have to think about anything anymore. It's like you're calling up the issue that you're addressing. Once the momentum has been established, then after that, you're just mopping the floors, right? So
Okay.
go through the lungs, the liver, the gallbladder, the kidneys, the spleen, right? Then let that sit for maybe a minute or two, and then run her through the arms and the legs. Go through the
Okay.
armpits, the elbows, the wrists, the hands, and then the legs, the hips, knees, ankles, soles of the feet, and then let that sit for about a minute, right? Then run her down through the spine, either clean the spine or have her just put her awareness on different parts of the spine, right?
Hmm.
Then let that cook for like a minute or two, and then have her focus on her main men, and then and still with cystis, you're inhaling, um, probably like a lot, like as much as she can handle, like just on the main men. Just keep pumping it on the main men, right? And
Okay.
then at that point, there's going to be a bunch of stuff coming out of the solar plexus. And so then you
Uh-huh.
can just use kind of whatever you want to clean up the solar plexus. You could use charcoal root cleanser, you could use Palo Santo, you could use frankincense, um, uh, Gilead, just anything that just flushes out the solar plexus.
Okay.
Yeah. Do that a few times, and it will, because I don't think it's a mental pattern. I think it's excuse me, emotional pattern.
It is. Yeah.
And she'll think one way but then feel a different way. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a weird thing to say, but it's just like it's like a kind of stress that has accumulated over a period of time, whereas there's just been things that have been opposing each other. Like, I don't like this person, but I like this person. This person hurts my feelings, but I love them. It's like stuff like that. And at
Right.
some point, it causes these oppositional things. And then the byproduct is we come up with like an emotional pattern to try to like harmonize these things that really are almost like polar opposite.
Right.
Yeah. It's like it's a thing that I've talked about for a really long time, but I haven't gone into a lot of depth because it can get a little bit complicated when you start dealing with not so much like what we're talking about here, but it's the same thing you would do for working the soul rays, the different rays of the soul. Like each ray has like its difficulty that the higher faculty and the lower faculty have a hard time. They're just at opposition, for a while. And so it causes these like patterns, and depending on what soul ray you are, different patterns for different people. And so it's a little bit harder to address on that level. But on this level, this is actually kind of what we're tapping into with the Ganesha class, the one that we're doing. It's basically just dealing with these emotional oppositions, and it's not even it's about releasing them. It's about like harmonizing it and releasing the stress. And in that, you kind of shed like, oh, this doesn't really work for me, or I'm going to make you. Basically, you start to become able to harmonize the mind and the emotions, and you go, well, that's the way I feel, but that's not a good choice for me. Where before they're operating very independent of each other. It actually causes a type of we talk about brain fatigue, and then we talk about things like chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia. There's a thing that's like even kind of beyond brain fatigue, and it's called psychasthenia, and it just means like depleted brain or depleted mental faculties, and it makes people like super indecisive. It makes them prone to anxiety and irrational fears, and makes them hard to make a decision. It makes it hard, like they doubt things. They'll have a lot of self-doubt or doubt about what's happening in their environment, and it's all this byproduct of the brain having to process so much opposition that the brain just goes ugh. And just like your body gets worn down, your brain can get just that worn down. And so you can't just like fortify the brain. I mean, you can, but you almost have to unwind some of these oppositions, and they're very, very unconscious. It's not like the person's making conscious choices about these things. But in doing so, it actually refines the will, and refining the will then starts to go like, I can make a decision. I can choose this. I can choose that. I'm doing this. I'm not doing that. The reason why sometimes people have a hard time making decisions is it's just a kind of depletion that happens. And so we're doing a little bit more involved thing with in the Ganesha class, but
when is that again?
It's not this weekend, it's the following weekend.
Okay.
It's just a 1 day or two. It's just a little quick and easy thing. And so we're doing a more involved version of it, but this will get the ball rolling for you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
And you can do it repetitively. Yeah. I find that like when I used to do this on clients, a lot of times they would sit and space out, or they would fall asleep during the session. Like, it's that soothing. It's like very, very soothing.
Okay.
It's like you take that opposition away unconsciously. It's not like you're going, oh, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that. It's unconsciously they're trying to resolve something that really is not even something that's in their power. Like, it's just this like conflict. And so that opposition can cause the anxiety, it can cause agitation. And even when they're resting, unconsciously, you're trying to still resolve that issue. And
Uh-huh.
it's very depleting to the mental faculties.
I think that's why she's so frustrated. It's
Yeah,
she knows
because her
she
mind
can't
thinks
almost she
something.
can't help it. Yeah.
Right, her mind thinks something, but then the emotions do something different or feeling something different. That is literally the definition of psychasthenia.
Is that the one where your handwriting changes?
No, that's
Something else.
sympathetic dystonia. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's a
All these
different part of the
fancy
nervous.
names.
Yeah, I know. Makes me sound smart.
But you are super smart.
I don't know about that. I think I'm just old.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
But let me know, try that, like a few sessions of that, and then let me know how it goes. But
Okay, I will.
yeah. I mean, the thing too is you almost like you did a bunch of trauma work. You probably couldn't even have done this until the trauma work was done. Like it's not something you can just like, I mean, you can, but it works better if there's a lot of trauma to remove a lot of the trauma first.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
And then